Okay. So, third day. Day number 3 for Genki. Hello again. Okay. So, yeah, we just continue. I just want to change the thumbnail. Doesn't change. As we change it later. Okay, so, yeah, let's just get to it with Tokini Andy. But first, let's just finish the Anki. First of all, we finished the Anki. Okay. Put 20 words, 20 cards here, and then we do the G-Lab. Let's just finish Tango, because Tango, we have 10 more days, and we finish with Tango. So, Junichi, Jusanichi, Jusanichi Nichi, Jusanichi Nichi.
31日、
31日、31日、13, no, Josan is 13. Sanju is 31. 31, 31日。ここに荷物を、I don't know what that is.
ここに荷物を置いてください。
Put 置く I know 置く置いてください。荷物を置いてください。ここに荷物を置いてください。Please put 置く to put 置いてください。Put it, okay. Please put it. コートを脱ぎます。
コートを脱ぎます。
コートを脱ぎます。家族はタイに住んでいます。My family lives in Thailand.
家族はタイに住んでいます。
家族はタイに住んでいます。16日。
16日。
16日。ここに soon something 置いてください。書いてください。
ここに住所を書いてください。
Right 書いてください。住所 address to live. That's why it has the kanji to live. Okay. ここに住所を書いてください。Please write your address. この橋を、橋 of course tree with what cross. So 渡ります。この橋を渡ります。この橋を渡ります。
この橋を渡ります。
この橋を渡ります。I don't know what this is.
冷蔵庫。
冷蔵庫、レフリジレーター、冷蔵庫。20、not 8日、28日。
28日。
28日。28日。I don't know what this is. I don't know.
洗濯機。
洗濯機。So, okay, laundry is also the same. 洗濯。Laundry, 洗濯機。Key means machine, of course. Key means machine. 洗濯機。Okay. 私は背が低いです。私は背が低いです。I'm short.
私は背が低いです。
私は背が低いです。私は背が低いです。I am short. 私は背が低いです。Key, of course, another key here we have. Machine.
掃除機。
掃除機。Okay, so every machine ends with 自動販売機。 掃除機、洗濯機。So, key. We have key, which means machine. 掃除機。掃除 means to clean. 掃除 means to clean. So, vacuum cleaner. Machine. 信号、traffic light。信号。
信号、
信号、信号、traffic light。忘れました。something は、宿題を忘れました。
宿題を忘れました。
宿題を忘れました。宿題を忘れました。デパートはどのですか？something ですか？デパートはどの something ですか？something です。
デパートはどの建物ですか？
建物。
あの建物です。
あの建物です。So, 建 means to build. Mono thing. So, build thing, which means building. So, デパートはどの建物ですか？ Which building is the department store? あの建物です。That department store. That building. デパートはどの建物ですか？あの建物です。1週間に何回行きますか？ How many times do you go a week? 2回行きます。2 times.
1週間
1
に
週間に
何回行きますか？
何回行きますか？
2回行きます。
2回行きます。Okay, okay, okay. I've seen it so many times, this sentence. So, remember. アパートの2階に住んでいます。Second floor, second floor. I think in 2階 or 2階 or
アパートの2階に住んでいま
2
す。
階に住んでいます。アパートの2階に住んでいます。Second floor. Did it in Duolingo so many times. 日本語学校見学しました。見学しました。
日本語学校を見学しました。
日本語学校見学しました。日本語学校見学しました。I went to observe the Japanese school. 見学しました。To observe in the past. ホアンさんは something に住んでいます。lives in something in this one.
ホアンさんは寮に住んでいます。
寮 dormitory dormitory. ホアンさんは寮に住んでいます。Okay. 先生に質問します。先生に質問します。Ask the sensei. Ask the sensei.
先生に質問しま
I
す。
have a question for the sensei. I have a question. 先生に質問します。質問ね、question. 質問する to ask. Okay. 会社はあのビルです。
会社はあのビルです。
ビル so we have two words for building. ビル which is the building English word. And we have 建物。会社はあのビルです。これは車の something です。
これは車の雑誌です。
雑誌です。これは車の雑誌です。OK。はあそこです。This something はあそこです。
階段はあそこです。
階段 stairs 階段街道 looks like something like 街道階段はあそこです。階段はあそこです。Stairs are over there あそこ。ここ here あそこ over there. And そこ、there next to you は趣味はカラオケです。
趣味はカラオケです。
趣味はカラオケです。1回
1回、
1回22日
22日、
22日 Ci secondi de matta 2回
2階、
2階。そのいつもは軽いですね。このいつもは軽いですね。
この荷物は
荷物、
軽いですね。
荷物のいつもの荷物は、この荷物は軽いですね。It's light, not heavy. 旅行に帰ります。乗ります。
急行に乗ります。
急行に乗ります。エクスプレストレイン、急行に乗ります。3階
3階、
?3 階、3階、3階、3階、of course。上の窓の。
上着を着ます。
Of course, 上着、下着の上着。上着を聞きます。4階、
4階、
4階、of course。バスで帰ります。mostly 正解 or ハローお元気ですか？ハロー先生ビークお元気です。毎日お元気です。えー、いつも、いつでも元気です。あなたは元気ですか？私はいつでも元気です。でもあなたは元気ですよ。すごい。キー、このはキーです。This is the spirit. So this means, it has to mean mostly. I mostly come by bus, return by bus. Also following a Japanese boy is learning English. Oh, tell me his name. I found some people who trying to also learn English. Maybe we invite them to join and play Shinchan with us. Play Shinchan with us, so they can explain to us in Japanese, in English. Okay, I'll follow him for sure. Hello, bro. Wait. Oh. He doesn't have voice. He doesn't have voice. He's muted during his studies. I doubt he's interested in Shinchan games. Good luck, bro. All the best. I am also doing the same thing as you, but I I am learning Japanese. He seems annoyed. Why? Okay, anyways, maybe we speak to him later. We speak to him later also. Okay, anyways. He tries to be focused to me means okay, okay. I am annoying him. I am annoying him. 40 minutes of learning, 10 minutes of chatting. Ah, now it's study time. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay, when it's time to chat, we chat. Okay. Anyways, we speak with him later. But now let's just focus. So he's learning English now. English, learning English. Okay, okay. Maybe we speak with him later. So, 大抵バスで帰ります。大抵 I believe it's 大抵 It is
大
大抵
抵
It is.
バスで帰ります。
It is 大抵バスで帰ります。I mostly come back by bus. Mostly come back by bus. 大抵バスで帰ります。大抵バスで帰ります。大抵バス I mostly take the bus to go home. 大抵バスで帰ります。Yes, he needs Google Translate to make sentences, but he can't read English sentences in the chat. Okay, he can't read. Okay, well, he's better than me, I think, in English than me in Japanese. Please call me Saj. Oh, I'll follow him on Instagram. Okay, when I get the phone, I follow. Okay, I don't remember the password now. I'll follow him later also. Bro, I want to speak with people. I want to speak with people. I think if we speak with Japanese person, so we make a stream together or video. He can like someone can explain me things like game or something. I can learn from him like live action. Uh, person person to person. Immediately, not having to watch video. I think it's better this way. Having a person from the native language you want to learn to speak with you is I think is the best way to learn, because language, what is language? Language, you just you exchange it with someone, with people. No, go away, go away. So 家族はタイに住んでいます。 My family lives in Thailand.
家族はタイに住んでい
タイ
ます。
に住んでいます。バナヤムレグンバレバナヤム。ここに荷物を置いてください。置いてください。
ここに荷
ここに
物を置いて
荷
ください。
物を置いてください。Put it to put 置く置いてください。Please put it 置く to put. That's refrigerator. Do something. I don't know. Not sure.
冷蔵
冷蔵
庫、
庫。冷蔵庫。冷蔵庫。冷蔵庫。冷蔵庫。ここに、いや、アドレス。アドレス。集合を置いてください。いや、もうレグンバレ。I don't want you. Go away. 離称号置いてください。
ここに住所を書いてください。
ここに州長を書いてください。Look at this. Go, 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 go. ここに州長、住所 Wait, 1 minute, 1 minute, 5 minute break. I see, let's work together, he's saying. Shits, Shitsuko neko. Shitsuko, Shitsukoi neko. Persistent, persistent. Shitsu, Shitsukoi neko. OK。ここに住所、住所書いてください。
ここに住所を書いてください。
that's 洗濯機、洗濯機、洗濯機。
掃除機。
掃除機、掃除機。So key means machine. Key, only key, just like tree means machine. It also has a tree in it. So key means machine. Let's do it again. 掃除機。洗濯機、洗濯機。
洗濯機。
洗濯機。washing machine。洗濯機、washing machine. And 冷蔵庫 is refrigerator. デパートはどの建物ですか？あの建物です。
デパートはどの建物ですか？
どの建物ですか？
あの建物です。
あの建物です。アパートの2階に住んでいます。
アパートの2階に住んでいます。
アパートの2階に住んでいます。ファンさんは something に住んでいます。ドルミトリー。
ホアンさんは寮に住んでいます。
寮に住んでいます。ファンさんは寮に住んでいます。会社はあのビルです。The apartment is on that building.
会社はあのビルです。
あのビルです。これは車の、これは車の、雑誌です。雑誌です。So this is a cars magazine.
これは車の雑誌です。
車の雑誌です。これは車の雑誌です。冷蔵庫。
冷蔵庫。
refrigerator。冷蔵庫。OK。そこです。something はそこです。
階段はあそこです。
階段はあそこです。stairs。1階。
1階。
上着を着ます。
上着を着ます。
2階。
2階。
3階。
3階。
急行に乗ります。
急行に乗ります。
急行に乗ります。express train. That has to be 掃除機。
掃除機、
掃除機、掃除機。vacuum cleaner。4階。
4階、
洗濯機、洗濯機。
洗濯機、
洗濯機。ファンさんは寮に住んでいます。寮に住んでいます。
ホアンさんは寮に住んでいます。
寮に住んでいます。あそこです。I forgot.
階段は
階段。
あそこです。
階道。階段。stairs。階段はあそこです。4階。5
5階、
階。5階。that's 5。5階。Okay. 10時に会社に着きます。着きます。
10時に会社に着きます。
to arrive 着きます。着く to arrive 6階 ?6 階
6階、
6階6階休憩9階休校休校
急行、
休校7階
7階、
7階 That's I know this 漢字
角、
角コーネル角8階8階
8階、
8階犬と動物を散歩をしますの公園犬と公園を散歩をします散歩をします
犬と公園を散歩します。
犬と公園を散歩をします9階
9階、
9階カップにお湯を入れますカップにお湯を入れます
カップにお湯を入れます。
カップにお湯を入れます冷蔵庫冷蔵庫
冷蔵庫、
冷蔵庫冷蔵庫レフリジレート冷蔵庫冷蔵庫レフリジレート they sound similar almost 冷蔵庫
掃除機、
掃除機掃除機 vacuum cleaner 掃除機this one 階段階道階段階段はそこです階段はそこです
階段はあそこです。
階段はそこです階段はそこです階段はそこです that's 洗濯機洗濯機 washing machine
洗濯機、
洗濯機 of course ファンさんは寮に住んでいますファンさんは寮に住んでいます
ホアンさんは寮に住んでいます。
10時に会社に着きます着きます to arrive 着く to arrive
10時に会社に着きます。
会社に着きます8階
8階、
8階6階
6階、
6階5階
5階、
5階7階
7階、
角コーネル角
角、
角コーネル6階9階
9階、
9階犬と公園を散歩します犬と公園を散歩します
犬と公園を散歩します。
Okay, done with the Ankit. We do this later, but we put it to 0 because it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to translate, to remember, and so on. So for now, for the next 1 month, maybe, the G Lab is always going to be on 0. until we finish tango as well, because tango is almost done. Like the next 9 days, we'll finish with all of tango, but we of course we will have the Jew, so the Jew to finish. But G Lab actually has a lot still, 40 days I think, and we have a lot of Jew cards to do. So yeah, 50. Today is 59. Tomorrow it's 47, 49. So the next 5 days we're going to have a lot of Jew cards. So yeah, I think this month we're not going to do any new G Lab. Only tango until it finished. And now we go back to Genki challenge. So we are doing Genki challenge.
Tokini Andy, Lesson 3 Genki 1 live stream. I hope you guys are having a great day or a great evening, and I hope that my audio is on. Let's check. Genki 1.
Genki challenge.
Lesson 3.
Start.
This is what we're covering today. We have 8 sections to cover today. The highlighted one in white is polite verb.
Easy. Like the last 2 lessons were easy. We said the kono, kore, we already know, but we just want to refresh our mind. So, and here we are going to do the mass polite invitation. We're going to do the mass conjugation, present tense, the mass, o, de, ni, e, polite invitation and whatnot. And wow.
Conjugation. That is going to be the main part of this lesson.
It's a long one, but it's easy. We already know all of this. But I just want to see how he teaches the lesson.
It's the hardest part in the book. Probably the least complicated section in reality. I think it's pretty straightforward, and I'm going to show you why it's straightforward today. So section 2 is the present tense, which is basically what we just covered in section 1, but a little bit more detail. We're going to be covering the particles o, de, ni, and e. We're going to be going over time references, how to reference time in particular, polite invitations, frequency adverbs, and word order, and a little bit more about wa. If you're watching this on the replay, there's going to be timestamps to each section.
Wait, it's break time? It's break time on the Japanese person? Ah, sumimasen. Atsui mizu isn't correct. It's oyu. Oyu is the hot water. Oyu. Oyu. Oyu hot water.
Down in the comments and probably in the description as well, so you can just skip around to what you want to actually cover for the day. Let's go ahead and jump into the Japanese polite verb conjugation. The first advice I give everyone when we go into the lesson 3 lesson is that you just need to either ignore or rip out pages 86 and 87. I think in the second book it's 88 and 89. You shouldn't actually rip them out because there's some important stuff on the back of those pages, but seriously, it's probably better if you just ignore them. Hopefully I can sort of explain why clearly today. The main reason is the way they teach you to memorize verbs. Now, what I say is that you should memorize dictionary forms first, but what the lesson 3 in the book suggests is that you should memorize verb conjugations as sets. So basically, when you memorize a verb, you should memorize its dictionary form, its polite present tense, and its polite negative, and all these other conjugations. Well, let me just tell you that that is an extreme waste of time. Like, it's just way too much work, it's too much memorization, because in Japanese, when it comes to conjugation, there's some very simple rules that can be followed for every single verb. And if you learn those rules, you can conjugate literally any verb into the language into its present tense or whatever tense we're covering. Today we're covering the polite present tense and the polite negative. Another thing that the book sort of is, I think, missing the mark on is that it has you memorize them as do and u verbs. I'm going to explain why that's a problem later, but I prefer to call them godan and ichidan verbs, or just u verbs and iru and edu verbs. That's a little bit easier to understand, And you'll see why a little bit later. The advice I give to everyone when they start memorizing conjugation, it's to memorize the dictionary form first. That's the form of the verb you're going to find in the dictionary. Memorize that first when you're learning new verb vocabulary. Then you're going to memorize the rules for conjugation based on the ending of the verb. So what does that mean? Well, all verbs in Japanese end with an u syllable. Not with the u character, but with the u syllable. Here are all the possible endings that a verb could have. U, ku, su, tsu, nu, mu, gu, bu, and du. If a word in Japanese ends with one of these characters, it's probably a verb. So the way that you make the Japanese polite present tense is that you create the mas verb stem and then add masu, and that's it. But I know you're probably going to ask, what is the verb stem, right? Well, I'm going to teach you how to make that, and that is the easiest thing to do. This, I believe, is the easiest conjugation in the Japanese language, and this book, these 2 pages, make it sound like it's some complicated magic. Now, the 2nd edition is much worse than the 3rd edition. The 3rd edition is a little bit clearer, but the 3rd edition still follows the same sort of premise of learn them as ru and u verbs and then memorize the mas, masen, like the present and the negative, along with the dictionary form, like memorize them together. And I don't think that is very efficient. So we're going to learn the rule to make the verb stem. First, for godan verbs, this is what the book calls u verbs. So to make the verb stem for godan verbs, we need to take the u syllable and turn it into an e syllable. Now that does not mean to take the u character and turn it into an e character. It means to take the sound u and turn it into e. So what does that mean? Well, this is what it means. For a verb that ends in u, we'd change it to e. So in that case, yes. For a verb that ends in ku, we'd change it to ki. For a verb that ends in su, we change it to shi. For a verb that ends in tsu, we change it to chi. A verb that ends in nu, we change that character to ni. A verb that ends in mu, we change it to mi. Gu becomes gi. Bu becomes bi.
Okay, so godan verbs, which are u verbs. Go, dan. I know them already, but let's just write them, okay? So godan verbs, verb stems, godan verb stems, okay? So the u becomes e, the ku becomes ki, the su becomes she, bushu becomes she, tsu becomes chi, the nu. Okay, nu is a little bit hard to write. Oh, found. Okay. So the nu becomes ni. The mu becomes me. The mu becomes me. The gu becomes gi. And fu, which is looks like Mount Fuji. Fu becomes he. Bro, writing hiragana is so satisfying. And I've become faster at writing. I remember I was very slow in writing hiragana, but now I'm a little bit faster. Not perfect, but I think I'm a bit faster.
And du becomes vi. Now you'll see that right here I have 2 little stars, and that's because du is the only character that is treated a little bit differently sometimes. And that's what the book calls du verbs. We're going to call them ichidan verbs or iru and eru verbs. I also have a star here with su and shi. You notice that it doesn't become si. That's because there is no si character in Japanese. So su, to make it the e sound, becomes shi. This is incorrect. There should not be a star here. The star should be down here on chi. So
Chi.
tsu becomes
Tsu
chi
becomes chi.
because there's no t sound in Japanese. Okay, so let's see what that looks like in practice, because just looking at this is a little bit confusing, I think. Let's look at some actual verbs. We're going to go back and look. Now that we have the verb stem, the mas verb stem, we know that we just have to add mas to whatever that is. So, first go down verbs. Here's a list of verbs. We've got utau, which is a verb that ends in u, and it means to sing. So we're going to take that u character, change it to an e,
Utau.
and we now have the verb
Utau.
stem. That is our
Utai.
verb stem. Let's go ahead and get our furigana out here, right? The verb stem of utau is utai,
Utaimasu.
and we add mas. Utaimasu.
Utaimasu.
And we now have
Okay, let's just write them. Let's just write. I like to write hiragana. Okay, so u and kanji also. So u. Okay. U comes uta. Uta, which is a bit complicated. So we have two mouths. Okay. And something hito. Okay, I wrote. Utao. Okay. Utao. Utao means to sing, of course. Utai. Utai becomes utai. Utai. Bro, it's so nice. Writing kanji and writing hiragana is just so satisfying. Utaimasu. Utaimasu. Utai. Mas. Utaimasu. Okay. To sing.
the polite present tense of utao. For a ku verb,
Ku.
we have kiku, which is to listen. To get this,
Kiku. So kiku becomes. Bro, I can't believe I know all of these kanjis. Kiku is ear. Kiku. Of course, kiku becomes kiki. Bro, I am writing kanji. Can't believe that I am writing kanji. So kiku becomes kiki. Kiki, okay, kiki. Kiki. Kiku becomes kiki. Becomes kikimasu. 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 Okay. Bro, writing.
the stem, we change ku to ki, and we have kiki, and that is the verb stem. Then all we have to do is add masu, and that is the present tense of kiku, which is to listen. Kikimasu. Su, we know from the last page, su becomes shi.
Of course,
So for the
hanasu,
verb hanasu,
hanasu, hanashi, hanasu. So su, su becomes the hanasu, of course. The mouth, to say the tongue, plus, no, this the next one is the tongue. Tongue, hanasu, su becomes hanashi, hanashi, hanashi. Bro, I'm writing kanji faster than ever before. Maybe because hanasu is an easy kanji. Bro, I need to print a kanji book that allows you to write hanashimasu, 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 hanashimasu. To speak, to talk, to speak.
which means to speak, we change su to shi, and we get hanashi. That's our stem. All you have to do is add mas.
Hanasu,
Hanashimasu.
Okay.
Now this is true for all u, ku, su verbs and everything we're going to cover up until
Su.
do. They're all going to be this
Matsu,
way. Every single
machi.
time, without
Machi.
fail. I'll cover the very few exceptions a little bit later. But they're all going to be like this. So you just need to memorize this simple rule. Okay,
Yeah.
so next we have matsu,
Yeah,
which is
easy
to
to
wait.
remember. Very easy to
Matsu,
remember. Matsutsu, which is matsu. Matsu, to wait. Matsu. Bro, I remember writing matsu in the past. It was very hard to write this kanji. Now I wrote it just like that. Just like that. Done. Matsu. Matsu. It's like drawing. So satisfying. Matsu. Matsu becomes machi, of course. Machi which becomes machimas. 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 Machi. Machimas. Okay, yeah, mas conjugations are easy. The conjugations that bother me are the rest. The past tense and whatnot. And the songeiko. I need to practice a little bit those
su
conjugations.
becomes chi. So we get machi, that's the verb stem, and we add mas, and that's machimas. Nu becomes ni, and our verb for that is to die, shinu, and that becomes shini. We add mas, shinimas, and that's it. Now, I want to mention one time, and I mention this all the time when I talk about shinu, that there are only two verbs that end in nu in the entire Japanese language. One is shinu, which means to
Only two.
die, and the other is inu. Now, inu also means dog, but the verb inu is also a very, very old Japanese word that also means to die, but it is not used in modern Japanese. Nobody uses it in conversation. Nobody uses it pretty much for anything. I think the last time it was used in popular culture was in the title of Gone with the Wind. They used the word inu. I don't remember what the full title was, but that's the last time I've ever heard of inu actually being used. Okay, so far? We've got a couple more verbs to go through. So, shinu becomes shini, shinimasu. Mu verbs, we change the mu, the u sound to i, so it becomes mi. So, no mu.
Shinu.
We've got a couple more verbs.
Let's write shinu. Let's write shinu as well. Or, yeah, let's write shinu as well. So we practice writing actually. Shinu, nu. So it's shinu. 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 Okay, shinu. Shinu. Shini becomes shini, of course. Shini, shinimasu. Oh, shinu is actually easy to write. Bro, once you get used to writing kanji, I think somehow they all follow some pattern, some similar pattern, like the stroke order. Once you get used to writing kanji, the stroke order has a pattern, definitely has a pattern, and your hand just gets used to it.
Verbs to go through. So shinu becomes shini, shinimasu.
Shinimasu.
Mu verbs, we change the mu, the u sound to e, so it becomes mi. So no mu to drink
Nomu.
becomes no mi. That's our stem.
Nomi.
We add mas.
Okay, enough writing. Let's just move on.
Let's get those furigana up.
Nomu,
Our
nomimasu.
gu verb is isogu, which is
Isogu.
to hurry. Isogu. That's, by the way,
Isogimasu.
these are the dictionary forms on the left. To get the verb stem, the mas verb stem, we change gu to gi. Isogu becomes isogi. We add mas. Isogimasu, and that is our polite present tense. Bu becomes bi, so asobu, which is to play, becomes asobi masu. Asobimasu. That's the play, polite present tense. Noru, which means to get on, like to get on a train or to get on a bicycle. Do becomes, in most cases, di, which is the verb stem, nori. We add mas, norimasu. And that is the polite present tense, norimasu. So that's it. So you just take nomu, change that u sound to an e sound. This is a good time this is like one of the only good times to use romaji. I'll cover that a little bit later, because you just change that last u sound to an e. You got the stem, add mas, you're good to go. That's it. So let's cover the hard part. Sort of hard part. This is what
Ichidan. So, nomu, nomimasu, isogu, isogimasu, asobu, asobimasu, and noru, norimasu. Easy.
to an e,
Easy to remember. U becomes E. That's just.
because you just change that last u sound to an e. You got the stem, add mas, you're good to go. That's it. So let's cover the hard part. Sort of hard part. This is what mixes people up all the time, where lots of people are going to make lots of mistakes if they don't know about these rules, and that is ichidan verbs, or as the book likes to call them, do verbs, which is silly because as we just saw back here, there's some do verbs that are just normal, like all the other verbs. So ichidan verbs are verbs that end with iru or edu.
Eru.
With,
Iru,
as
eru,
far
yeah.
as I know, 10 exceptions, but I think there may be some other exceptions out there as well. The verb that I'm first going to use for our example is taberu. Now,
Taberu.
do verbs are the one time that I think it's worth writing out verbs in romaji, in Roman characters, because it's a little bit easier to understand iru and edu verbs, right? You can see here that taberu has 3 characters, ta, be, and do. So how is this an edu verb exactly? Well, if you write it out in English characters, we can see ta, be, do. Now that last e sound is where the edu part of the verb comes from, right? So that makes it an edu verb. So in this case, we know that it's going to be treated a little bit differently than normal do verbs, which if it was a normal do verb, you'd think it would be conjugated as taberimasu, but that is incorrect. It is not taberimasu.
Berserka, how is it
iru
going?
or-
How is your studies going? We're working right now, so I can't hear stream. Okay, no problem. The study is going very well. The study is going very well. Absolutely amazing. We are on day 3 of Genki challenge. And it's going very well.
or in-
Hopefully You are alright. And consistent with this with Japanese. So you are on day 14 also.
Edu verbs. So let's see what happens. I've got good news. Some really good news actually. It's really easy to make an ichidan verb
Okay,
into the
so basically just like Mr. George said, so it's the ichidan verbs. Ichidan Ichidan verbs are 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 the verbs that ends with iru, except for 10 exceptions. Well, Mr. George said that there are 17 exceptions, but with Yuki, if we can find it here, I think it's here. With Yuki, we found that iru exceptions, we found 12 exceptions. Actually, only Yuki found the 12 exceptions. So I'm good, thank you, bro. Of course. Hopefully you just stay consistent. So we have 12 exceptions that are ichidan, look like ichidan verbs. 12 exceptions. 12 exceptions. Save. Okay. Most common exceptions, which are hairu, to enter, hashiru, to run, kiru, to cut, shiru, to know, kaeru, to come home, and iru, to need. These are the 12 exceptions, and gohan with eru, go down with eru, which are suberu, to glide, shaberu, to speak, to chat, heru, to decrease, teru, to shine, and keru, to kick. Okay. So iru verbs is
part of the verb comes from, right? So that makes it an edu verb. So in this case, we know verbs in Romaji, in Roman characters, because it's a little bit easier to understand iru and edu verbs, right? You can see here that taberu has 3 characters, ta, be, and du. So how is this an edu verb exactly? Or edu, with, as far as I know, 10 exceptions, it's normal. Du or edu, with, as far as I know, 10 exceptions, but I think there may be some other exceptions out there as well. The verb that I'm first going to use for our be, that it's going to be treated a little bit differently than normal do verbs, which if it was a normal do verb, you'd think it would be conjugated as taberimasu, but that is incorrect. It is not taberimasu because it is an iru or an edu verb. So let's see what happens. I've got good news. Some really good.
Except for 10, or we find we have 12, but George Trombley from Zero said that there are 17 actually. Except for 17, let's just write 17 verbs. So ichidan are iru verbs except for 17 exceptions. That's it. That's just it.
Good news actually. It's really easy to make an ichidan verb into the polite present tense. All you have to do is cut the do and add mas. So for example, for miru, which is to look, we just cut the do, get rid of it.
That's it.
And add mas, and it becomes mimas. For nedu, which is to sleep, you can hear it, nedu, N-E-R-U, nedu. So that's an edu verb. We just cut the do, add mas, nemas. Okiru, which is to wake up or to get up, like in the morning or whatever. Ki, it ends with an e sound, right? So that makes it an iru verb. So all we have to do is cut the do and add mas, and we get okimasu, which is to wake up in the polite present tense. And that's it. That's literally it. Now, there are 10 exceptions to the iru eru verb. Now, before I mention that, before I go over those, I just want to mention that with these rules in mind, what that means is that when you're conjugating verbs into their polite present or polite negative, you will know without fail that you're going to be changing that last character to its e counterpart. So if it ends in u, you're changing it to e. If it ends in mu, you're changing it to mi and adding mas. The only time you're not going to be sure is if it ends in do. So you need to be careful with do verbs. If you look at a do verb, you need to check the character before do, just to see if it has an e or an e at the end of it. If it does, you know it's an iru eru verb. Unless it's one of these 10. So these are the 10 exceptions that I know about. In my previous lesson 3 live stream, I said that there were 8, but then someone in the Discord, Sai, the person's name was Sai in the Discord, recognized 2 more. So I've added those to the lesson here. We've got hairu, which is to enter.
Hashiru.
That is true. These are all treated, by the way, as normal do verbs back in the first section, godan verbs. So hairu becomes hairimasu.
Hairimasu.
Hashiru. You'd think it's an iru verb, right? But it's an exception, so it becomes hashirimasu.
Have them here.
Iru, which is to need, becomes irimasu. I don't really use that one much. Usually you just say iru, but anyway. Kairu, which is to go home, becomes kairimasu. That's an exception.
Kairu,
Kagiru
kairimasu.
is another exception. It means to limit. Kagirimasu, to limit. Kiru, which is to cut,
Kiru.
becomes kirimasu. It's an
Kirimasu.
exception. Shaberu, which is also to
Shaberu.
speak, kind of like hanasu, but depends on where you're at, and it's a little less formal, I'd say. Becomes shaberimasu.
Shaberimasu.
Shiru, which is to know,
Shiru.
becomes shirimasu.
Shirimasu.
Keru and suberu, which were the ones that were not in my last
Keru.
lessons. Those are to kick and to slide. They become kerimasu and
Kerimasu.
suberimasu, respectively. So these are
Suberu,
exceptions
suberimasu.
to.
Okay, yeah,
the
and we have
rule.
2 more.
All right, I'm gonna jump into regular verbs,
Wait,
and then I'm
let's
gonna
just check if they are
to
actually in the list we have. So if we,
kerimasu and suberimasu.
okay, so we have the 10 here and the 12 here. Okay, so hairimasu, hairu, hairimasu. We have hashiru, hashirimasu. We have kiru, to cut, which is not here. So kiru, kirimasu. We have shiru, to know, shirimasu. Kaeru, kaerimasu. We have iru, to need, irimasu. Okay, we have the godan with eru. Suberu, to slide, to glide. Shaberu, which is not here. Oh no, there it is, to speak. Shaberu, shabirimasu. Shaberimasu. Shaberu, shaberimasu. And we have heru, which is not here. Okay, so decrease. And we have teru, to shine. Terimasu, which is not here also. And we have keru, to kick. Keru. I think this list is missing kagi. Kagiru. Kagiru, we don't have kagiru here. Okay, let's add it. So kagiru. So now we have 13. Kagiru. Kagiru. Which means kagiru. Kagiru. Which means which is to limit. To limit. To limit. Okay, now we have 13. So the list. So I think we have 4 more until we reach the 17. So hairu is here. Hairu, hashiru, of course, here. Iru, I have it. I've seen it. Iru, to need. Iru, to need. Kaeru, it's here. Definitely here. Has to be here. Kaeru. Wait, kaeru is not here, huh? Teru, shaberu, hieru, teru. Kaeru, there it is, kaeru. It should be, kaeru should come down. Kaeru. So kaeru, we have it also. We have, we have kagi, kagiru. Kagiru, we have it here. We just added. Kiru to cut. Kiru to cut. There it is. Shaberu. Shaberu. Shaberu to speak. Shiru to know. Shiru to know. There it is. Shiru to know. Keru. Keru. I've seen it definitely. Keru. Keru to kick. And suberu. Suberu. Okay, so we have 13. Each. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Roku. Hachi. Hach. Kyu. Ju. Juichi. Juni. It's 12. So, okay, 12. 12 exceptions, not 13. Okay, 12 exceptions. Back to the lesson.
Respectively. So these are exceptions to
So,
the
I
rule.
think that was the most confusing part. The exceptions. Iru exceptions. Now that is clear what the exceptions are, now that it's clear, now this confusion is gone. Now I know what iru verbs are and what godan verbs are and what ichidan verbs are. So I think, yeah, the confusion is gone. So I have here 17 verbs that are written. So, and we have 12, so 5 more exceptions. We have 12 exceptions. So we have 5 more until we complete all the exceptions from the ru verbs or the ichidan verbs. Not the ichidan, but the godan verbs that look exactly like the ichidan, but they are not ichidan, they are godan. So 5 more verbs and we complete the list. But now with this list, I think we can remove the confusion with this list. So yeah, now it's clear. Now it's clear. Hello, bro. Hey, I do custom artworks for streamers. Would you like to see my? Oh no, thank you. I don't want. I don't have money.
All right, I'm going to jump into irregular verbs and then I'm going to stop for any questions or comments, see what I'm missing. So there are 2 irregular verbs in Japanese with one...
Timmy, sorry, it's a bit off topic. What did you study for the university? Civil engineer. Civil engineer. If you'd like to explore my portfolio or discuss, please share your Discord on chat. Yeah, you can see the Discord here. If you go down, there's a Discord server.
Verb iku, that is sometimes an exception. Today it's not. But anyway, the 2 irregulars, they're always irregular, regardless of the conjugation, are kuru and suru. Kuru is to come, suru is to do.
Kuru.
So kuru doesn't follow any of the rules. You just need to memorize these 2. It's kimas, to come, and suru becomes shimas, to do. And you just have to memorize those 2. Unfortunately, there's no special rule for them. You just memorize that kuru. Any of the rules. You just need to memorize these 2. It's kimas, to come, and suru becomes shimas, to do. And you just have to memorize those 2.
Kuru.
Unfortunately,
Kumas,
there's no
suru,
special rule
shimasu.
for them. You
Easy.
just memorize that ku, ru becomes ki-mas.
Basically, kuru is like, it's just exactly like ichidan. Kuru, kumas. You just remove the ru. And suru becomes shimas. It's just like the godan.
Becomes shimasu. And those are our two irregulars. So I'm going to jump into Japanese polite present tense negative, which is almost exactly the same
Exactly
as
the same. So I think now I grasp the meaning, grasp the conjugation, the mass conjugation very much. Now the only thing remains is to make a video on YouTube and teach what I learn.
positive. So I'm going to
That's the most
fly through
important
this.
thing.
All right, guys?
Thing.
So all you need to make the negative, which is to say the opposite of a verb. So basically, to say instead of go, the negative conjugation would be not go. Okay? So that's what the negative means. So for the negative, we take the mas verb stem, again, same verb stem, and just add masen. Okay, so let's go over go-down verbs first. Utao becomes utaimasen.
Utaimasen.
Kiku becomes kikimasen. Hanasu becomes hanashimasen. Matsu becomes machimasen. Shinu becomes shinimasen. Not die. Please don't die. Nomu becomes nomimasen. Isogu becomes isogimasen. Asobu becomes asobimasen. Noru becomes norimasen. So using the last example sentence, which I'll have lots of very soon, I promise, you could say densha ni norimasen, not get on the train. For ichidan verbs, we have the same issue. We just kataru and add masen. It's exactly the same for the negative as it was for the positive. So for miru, we get kataru, mimasen. Neru, kataru, nemasen. Not sleep. That's what happened to me yesterday. Okiru, kataru, okimasen. Okay? And that's just for iru and eru verbs. Same deal as before. So the same exceptions exist for negative verbs. There are 10 exceptions. You unfortunately just need to memorize them. Okay. Most of them are pretty common, so you'll use them so much and make mistakes with them so much that you will get them down pretty quickly. So, for example, hairu becomes hairimasen. Hashiru becomes hashirimasen. Iru becomes irimasen. I don't need it. Kairu becomes kairimasen, not go home. Kagiru becomes kagirimasen, there's not a limit. Kiru becomes kirimasen, not cut. Shaberu, shaberimasen, not speak. Shiru, shirimasen, I do not know. Keru, kerimasen, not kick. Suberu, suberimasen, I'm not going to go down the slide. Suberidai ni suberimasen. The same irregular verbs exist for the masen form. Kuru becomes kimasen. So it's the same deal.
I don't understand why kuru is irregular. It's exactly the same as ichidan.
Ki. Kuru becomes kimasen, not come. Suru becomes shimasen, not do. Okay? And that's it.
Japanese
that is how you conjugate verbs into their present polite tense and into their negative. And now we're going to go over some examples of these and how you can use them. Because knowing how to make the Japanese present tense is great, but that doesn't mean you've learned how to use it. So that's what we're going to go over now. Now we've just gone over how to make the present tense, and that is using the mas verb stem, adding mas for positive, and the mas verb stem plus masen for the negative. In reality, the Japanese present tense should be put in quotation marks, because what it actually is it's used to refer to habitual actions or future actions, whether those are just about to happen or off in the future. They're not used for ongoing actions, which I guess, well, the continuous is used for that in English as well, so I guess that's not so unique. But just keep in mind that the present tense actually means habitual actions and future actions. So let's go over some examples for that. In Japanese, unlike in many other languages, you can just say a verb and it can be a complete sentence. So for example, utaimasu. This means I will sing. Now, I have I in gray because the I here is implied. The full sentence would be watashi wa utaimasu or something like that. I will sing. But you don't need it. All you actually need to have a complete sentence in Japanese is utaimasu, one verb. I will sing. If someone questioned you and asked you, do you sing sometimes, you could also respond with utaimasu, which would mean I sing from time to time. Yeah, I can sing. Nomimasen means I will not drink or I do not drink, depending on the context alone. So if someone asks, hey, do you drink alcohol? nomimasen.
Nomimasen.
That means that habitually, I do not drink alcohol. Now, if someone gives you a drink, it says, do you want to drink this? Nomimasen. I will not drink it. So it's future tense in reality, right? So, kairimasu alone is I will go home now. I will go home. Kairimasu. All right, so let's go over some full sentences because that's what we're all here for. That's what I'm here for, full sentences. We'll start with
この歌
こ
を
の歌を歌います. I will sing this song. You remember kono from lesson 2. If you haven't watched lesson 2 yet, you might want to go check that one out. It's probably up here or something. And that will teach you how to use kono, which is specific this. この歌を歌います. I will sing this song. So if you're at karaoke anytime, if you come to Japan and you don't go to karaoke, I will be shocked. Everyone goes to karaoke when they first get to Japan. It's like
I opened the door.
initiation ritual. So if you're looking at the thing where you choose your songs, the little like iPad-like thing, この歌を歌います. I will sing this song. お茶を飲みません. I will not drink tea, or I do not drink tea. Once again, this is going to depend on the context, because if someone is offering you tea right now, you can just say お茶を飲みません. I'm not going to drink tea. But it could also mean that you don't drink tea habitually. So in Japanese, context is very important. 家に帰ります. I will go home. Literally, it means I will go home to my house. Uchi is my house or my home. And the verb kairu is to go home. So I will go home to my house. Which is why we don't see anything green in the original sentence. Next, we're going to jump into the conversation. So our conversation, the very first one in today's lesson, is quite long. So I'm going to go through it slowly first. I'll be both characters, and then I will go through it at a normal pace, and then we'll go over it line by line in the following slides. All right, are you ready? Let's go. 何を食べますか?
何を食べますか?
ハンバーグセットを食べます。じゃあ、僕はオムライスを食べます。コーヒーも飲みませんか?
飲みませんか?
コーヒーは飲みません。はい、わかりました。わ
かりました。
Let's go through that at full speed. Potential, that's the one, Dan. Thank you. 何を食べますか?ハンバーグセットを食べます。じゃあ、僕はオムライスを食べます。コーヒーも飲みませんか?コーヒーは飲みません。はい、わかりました。Alright, so let's go through that line by line.
何を食べませんか?
Our first sentence was 何を食べますか? That means what will you eat? Nani means what? Tabemasu-ka. We're using ka here, which we learned in lesson 1. It's the question marker. And we can use it, we learned to use it with this. Desu-ka, right? Something something desu-ka. But you can also use it at the end of the polite verbs. In fact, you must use it at the end of polite verbs to make a polite question sentence. So that would be Nani wo tabemasu ka? What will you eat? Our next sentence was ハンバーグセットを食べます。In Japanese, it's sort of like, it's basically the same sound as in English, but it's like a thinking sound, like right? It's not it's with your mouth closed generally. ハンバーグセットを食べます。Now, hamburger set in Japan, I don't know if you guys know this, is not a hamburger like we think of it on a roll. It's generally just the burger with like some kind of glazed sauce on it or something. It's not hamburger like we think of it. If you want a hamburger...
こんばんは、Yodai Hirose. How is it going?
You need to ask for a hamburger. Which is
so
covered in the vocabulary
because
in
it's
Genki.
night
Hamburger set is actually
Osaka.
more common in Japan, especially in like family restaurants. it's harder to find actual hamburgers. So I'll eat the hamburger set. Hamburger set o tabemasu. All right.
Now
Our next set of sentences were じゃあ僕はオムライスを食べます。じゃあ means, well, okay then, something like that. Right? We learned that, I believe, in lesson 1. 僕はオムライスを食べます。Omurice I translated as omurice because we don't really have an equivalent dish in like America, but it's basically an omelet plopped on top of ketchup rice. So rice that's mixed up with ketchup, and that's called omurice. There's also maybe some frozen vegetables in that rice or something, but anyway, I translated it as omurice because otherwise I'd have to give a full explanation, which I did anyway. Anyway, the next sentence was コーヒーも飲みませんか?
Wait, what was the last sentence?
Which is covered in the vocabulary in Genki, but hamburger set is actually hamburgers. So I'll eat the hamburger set. Sentences were じゃあ僕はオムライスを食べます。じゃあ means, well, okay then, something like that. Right? We learned that, I believe, in lesson 1. 僕はオムライスを食べます。Omurice I translated as omurice because we don't really have an equivalent dish in like America, but it's basically an omelet plopped on top of ketchup rice. So rice that's mixed up with ketchup, and that's called omurice. There's also maybe some frozen vegetables in that rice or something, but anyway, I translated it as omurice because
coffee too?
コーヒーも飲みませんか? All right, now this one is a bit of a doozy. Now, we see we have 飲みませんか? And you'll notice in the English translation, this is, won't you drink coffee too? Now, we're going to be covering 飲みませんか, which is basically negative plus ka, which is a polite invitation, a little bit later in the lesson, so stick around for that if you want to learn more about it. So this question is コーヒーも飲みませんか instead of コーヒーは or コーヒーを. Now, that's because I've already said, as A, that I'm going to have omurice. So the person B is asking if I will also have coffee. So this mo is also. We covered that in the last lesson, I think, but just so you know, that's what's going on here. Even though I'm not drinking anything, I've already decided that I'm having omurice. So the person's asking me if I will also have coffee. Won't you have coffee too? コーヒーは飲みません. I'm not drinking coffee. Or I don't drink coffee. It could be translated either way. Depends on the context. In this situation, I'd probably say, no, I'm not going to drink coffee right now. But some people might say it as, I don't drink coffee at all. わかりました. So, わかりました is an important phrase. It has not been taught in the Genki book yet, but you might as well learn it right now. わかりました is the past tense conjugation of the verb わかる, which means to understand. わかりました means you have understood what has been said to you. So it can be translated as got it. Gotcha. I understand. Understood. Something like that. And it's a very important phrase, or verb, really. So you should learn わかりました or わかった is the impolite, informal version of it. わかりました. I understand. So let's go ahead and jump into particles.
Okay, so now I mastered the mass form for sure. I had some doubts in the past, but after watching this video, this 26 minutes, I completely mastered the mass form. So all the conjugations I understand, all the exceptions, iru exceptions. I just have to memorize these ones and I'm good to go. So this is the goal of this challenge, this Genki 30 days challenge, because I know all the grammar points, but doing this challenge I will be able to clean any doubts, any things that I do not understand. So now let's move on to the particles as she shows us here.
Wo, de, ni, and e. The first one we're going to cover is wo, which, as Carl Meyer-Flor just mentioned, marks direct objects. Gonna do some formula stuff here. Basically, direct object, dab. Wo, verb. So we take our direct objects, dab, we add wo, and a verb. Let's see how that works. For example, just like we were just talking about, コーヒーを飲みます. I will drink coffee. コーヒーを飲みます or I do drink coffee.
So
テレビを見ます.
oh,
I will watch
also.
TV or I do watch TV. テレビを見ます. So I will watch television or I
So o marks the object that I'm going to do the verb to. So terebi, I will watch the TV. So o marks the object. TV is the object. Kohi o nomimasu. I will drink coffee. What will I drink? Coffee. What will I watch? Terebi.
I will watch television or I do watch television. And that's it. It just
Easy.
marks the direct
Yeah,
object.
easy.
That's all. We'll have practice sentences later in the chapter. De marks where an activity takes place. Not all the time, but the first thing we learn in Genki, sorry about my fan, is that de marks where an activity takes place. So let's see what that looks like. Basically, we take a location, we add de, and then the verb. For example, we're going to use the same sentences as before.
Okay, easy.
Ie de
Easy stuff.
コーヒーを飲みます. So I will drink coffee at home or I do drink coffee at home. 家でコーヒーを飲みます. So this day is marking the location at which drinking of coffee takes place. It can be translated sort of as an at. The next sentence we could add バーでテレビを見ます. So I will watch TV at a bar or I do watch TV at the bar. Anyway, we've got the location. De basically can be translated as at. It marks where we're doing it. Terebi o mimasu. We do watching of television. The next particle is ni. Now, ni is a fun one. It can be used in so many ways, but the two ways we're going to be covering today are marks the time an activity takes place. It can mark the time something happens. Or it can mark a movement towards a goal. Movement towards something. Physical movement. Not always physical, but mostly physical movement. So, for time, we have a time, which is going to be in black and light blue today, and ni, and then a verb. Or, if we're talking about moving towards a goal, we have a location, plus ni, plus a verb of movement, which you'll see what I'm talking about momentarily. So these sentences, we're using the same sentences as before, and they're just getting longer and longer. So our first sentences are going to be using time. 7時に家でコーヒーを飲みます. So we just took the original コーヒーを飲みます and used some particles to make it a more complicated sentence. I will or do drink coffee at home at 7 o'clock. 7時に家でコーヒーを飲みます. So our next sentence is 日曜日にバーでテレビを見ます. This time we've added Sunday. 日曜日にバーでテレビを見ます. This means I will or do watch television at a bar on Sunday. So in this case, ni is marking the time that something takes place. Now using locations, movement towards something, we have アメリカに帰ります. I will go home to America. アメリカに帰ります. Now, kairu, remember I said that ni, the directional, takes a verb of movement. And to go home, kairu is a verb of movement. So that's one that can take ni. アメリカに帰ります. カフェに行きます. Cafe is a cafe. And 行く、行きます is a verb of movement. It's literally the verb of movement. It means to go. So I will go to a cafe. I forgot to put a there. Cafe ni ikimasu. I will go to the cafe.
Has a movement verbs. There's no movement. It's just at there. Like you are already there. That's it. Easy.
Our next particle is e. Now, e also marks movement towards a goal, and it is identical to ni. It is used in exactly the same way as the movement version of ni. We had a conversation on Discord about this the other day, over what the difference is in reality. And what it comes down to is sort of preference, personal preference. They can be used the same way. There's some situations where e is more commonly used, but for the most part, you just sort of get a feel for it and use the one you like the most. Younger people tend to use ni in place of e, whereas older people, obviously, are the opposite, tend to use e instead of ni when talking about going somewhere. But otherwise, they're exactly the same. There's no rule of when you should use one or the other. You use it the same way. Location plus e plus a movement verb. So we're going to use the same sentences. アメリカへ帰ります。カフェにカフェに No. カフェへ行きます。It's so hard for me to say that because I would always say カフェに行きます。But you could say カフェへ行きます。But it's harder to say in my opinion. It's much easier to say カフェに行きます。And both are fine. So I'm always going to go with the easier one. カフェに行きます。But カフェへ行きます is also fine. So now I'm going to jump into sentences as soon as I fix my stupid camera. 来週アメリカに帰ります。私も10月にアメリカへ行きます。アメリカで何をしますか？ピザをたくさん食べます。Alright, let's go through that at full speed. 来週アメリカに帰ります。私も10月にアメリカへ行きます。アメリカで何をしますか？ピザをたくさん食べます。Alright, so let's go over that line by line. 来週アメリカに帰ります。So this one means next week I will go home to America. Now, one thing that is covered in the book is time, references to time, and we're going over that next. That's the next section. You'll notice I didn't use ni along with daishu, and that's because daishu is one of the types of words that you do not use ni with. In fact, you cannot use ni with it. So that's going to be in the next section. I'll explain that a little more there, so stick around for that. So, 来週アメリカに帰ります means next week I will go home to, excuse me, America. 私も10月にアメリカへ帰ります。Now notice, I have ni and e here. Now this ni is in reference to time, which is 10月 or October. This e is in reference to going to America. アメリカへ行きます。Right? Now, I did this on purpose, but you could just as well say, 私も10月にアメリカに行きます。That would be perfectly fine. Keep that in mind. Oh, watashi, will also go to America in October. The also is mo in October. This is like a, really? Really? I'm going to do that too type of thing. Or, oh, I'll also go to America. Sort of a pleasant surprise. I'm also doing that. アメリカで何をしますか? This is just a simple question sentence. アメリカで What are you going to do in America? So this de could be translated usually as at or in. It means what, nani? What are you going to do? And we covered de is it marks a location where something is done. In this case, we're asking what will be done in America. What will you do in America? アメリカで何をしますか？ピザをたくさん食べます。たくさん means lots of, and that's a verb of frequency, which I believe we cover in part 6 of this lesson. So stick around for that. ピザをたくさん食べます。All right. So we're going to be moving on now to referencing time in Japanese. So to reference time in Japanese,
Wait.
for days of the week and for numerical time, what will be day could be translated usually
アメリカで何をしますか? What will you do? So nani gets all.
アメリカで何をしますか?
What
This is just a simple question sentence. アメリカで What are you going to do in America? So this day could be translated usually as at or in. It means what, nani? What are you going to do? And we covered day is it marks a location where something is done. In this case, we're asking what will be done in America. What will you do in America? アメリカで食べます。たくさん means lots of, and that's a verb of frequency, which I believe we cover in part 6 of this lesson. So stick around for that. ピザをたくさん食べます. All right. So we're going to be moving on now to referencing time.
Yeah, I've seen the particles o, de, ni, and I've seen them so many times by now. I learned them. I definitely mastered them as well.
Time in Japanese.
okay, later also we'll see the wa as well. So yeah, I think in today was a very good lesson.
So, to reference time in Japanese,
Days of the week.
for days of the week and for numerical time expressions like shichiji or nanaji, if you want to sound like a really, really older Japanese man, you need to use ni, the ni particle, after them. For example, we take the time plus ni plus a verb. So, we'll use our examples from earlier. 7時に
7時に
コーヒーを飲みます. We need to have that ni if we're using time. You can't say 7時コーヒーを飲みます. Doesn't sound right. This is one of those cases where you cannot drop the particle. You must keep it there. 7時にコーヒーを飲みます For days of the week, we also use the ni particle. 日曜日にテレビを見ます I will or do watch TV on Sunday. 日曜日にテレビを見ます For words like today, tomorrow, etc., or for regular intervals like every day, or for when, we do not use ni. In fact, you cannot use ni. For today, 今日, tomorrow, 明日, regular intervals, every day, 毎日, or when, いつ, no ni. So we have 毎日,
Yeah, I think I
every day,
remember what
use ni. For
when you say when you say regular every day, or when you say tomorrow, today, tomorrow, you don't use ni. Only when you use like in another day, in other day than today. So 2 days more than today, not tomorrow, but after tomorrow, like on Tuesday, on Wednesday, next week, next year, you use ni.
For today, 今日, tomorrow, 明日, regular intervals, every day, 毎日, or when, いつ, no ni. So we have 毎日コーヒーを飲みます We drink coffee. I will drink coffee every day, or I do drink coffee every day. 毎日コーヒーを飲みます So notice we don't have a ni particle. Doesn't take a ni particle. The next one is 今日はテレビを見ます We could also say 今日テレビを見ます But often people say 今日はテレビを見ます Today is, we'll cover
so
that
no
wa.
ni, no
That's
ni,
the wa we
because
actually
it's
cover
today.
at the end of the lesson. But it doesn't take ni. For times of day, like morning or evening, asa, gogo, stuff like that, or for the weekend, 週末, you can use ni, but you don't have to. It's optional. Ni will make it more forceful, more emphasized. So time si plus ni plus verb, but the ni is optional. So
朝にコーヒーを
コーヒーを飲みます I will drink coffee in the morning. That ni is completely optional. You could also say 朝コーヒーを飲みます
Okay.
But that ni emphasizes more when you're doing it than the actual activity. 朝にコーヒーを飲みます I drink coffee in the morning. If you just said 朝コーヒーを飲みます I drink coffee in the morning, like it's more emphasizing the what you do. The next sentence is 週末テレビを見ます I will watch TV over the weekend. You could also say 週末にテレビを見ます That would be fine as well.
Okay.
But it's emphasizing when you're going to do something. So let's go over
朝何をし
our
ますか
conversational piece for this. 朝何をしますか朝
What do you do
に
in the morning?
ご飯を食べま
朝に
す
ご飯を食べます
毎日何時に食べますか
食べますか
8時に
8時
食べ
に
ます
食べます
いつ仕事に行きますか仕事に行きません Alright, let's read that a little bit faster. 朝何をしますか朝朝にご飯を食べます毎日何時に食べますか8時に食べますいつ仕事に行きますか仕事に行きません Alright, let's go over that one by one. I see bananas are flying. Okay, so the first sentence was 朝何をしますか What do you do in the morning? Notice we don't have a ni particle. You could if you wanted to. 朝にご飯を食べます In the morning, specifically, I eat breakfast. 毎日何時に食べますか What do you eat every day? So that ni can be translated as at. So it's kind of a weird English sentence. What time do you eat at every day? I guess that's not that weird. 毎日何時に食べますか I should have, there we go. What time do you eat at every day? Notice there's no ni particle.
Yeah,
For
it's not weird.
terms like 毎日 every day, we do not use ni. Nanji, what time, we do use ni for. Nanji ni tabemasu ka? In place of that nani, that nan would be a number. So nanji ni tabemasu ka? We do need ni then. Hachiji ni tabemasu. So for a specific time, we need the ni particle. Hachiji ni tabemasu. All right, our next sentence is Itsu shigoto ni ikimasu ka? When do you go to work? Shigoto is work. Ikimasu ka is, of course, the verb to go. So, itsu, we do not use the ni particle with itsu. Itsu shigoto ni ikimasu ka? When do you go to work? Shigoto ni ikimasen. I don't go to work. For those of you who are wondering, B in this sentence is Ando-san in the Patreon listening and shadowing practice. He's the one that does number B. He does not go to work, Ando-san. Just so you're aware. All right, and that brings us to polite invitations in Japanese. This is going to be one of the more useful sections in the
for timings is okay. Now I mastered it as well. This one
lesson. All right, so polite invitations in Japanese. This is where we're going to start using masen, which is the negative conjugation of any verb. Okay, polite invitations use something called masenka, which is to build that. We take the mas verb stem, we add masen.
Yuki, hello. How is it going? So yeah, we just keep going with the challenge. Today I completely mastered the mass form. I was confused in the past with the iru exceptions, but now that I know ichidan and godan, I know them very clearly. I grasped the conjugations. Like I know all the conjugations. And I know that all I have to do is to memorize these 12 exceptions that you gave me the other day. So fine, thanks. I'm at my father's house today until Monday morning. So you're 1 week. For 1 week at your father's. That's good. So wait, you will be on YouTube then? You will be on YouTube more often then? I read the letter. I read the correction that you sent. I could understand a lot of things. Where is it? So this one. How do I close? So, はじめまして、ゆうきと申します。私はいつも日本の this one I forgot what this one is. Ni and this one I forgot. But anyways, it's very interesting. So the only mistakes, so the fixed mistakes are these ones. So very interesting. I could understand a lot of things from the text, but I'm still slow at reading. Even when we were playing the game. Now I am on Twitch right now. I had my smartphone with me this time, so I had the possibility of 3 types of authentication. Okay. The authentication part is a struggle for me. You always have to authenticate, and you have to send SMS. But yeah, I think we are making huge progress. I could read, and the game yesterday, the first part of the game, because I watched Game Gengo, I could remember everything I read. But later on, I couldn't read fast, and I was very slow. It was frustrating at the beginning, but I think slowly, if you move on with the game, you can read faster. So the text you gave me, I read it like a couple of times, and on the third time, I could read it faster. But again, I still forget some things.
It's basically the negative polite conjugation, and we add ka, the question particle. And that means, won't you do something? A verb, basically. Won't you? So it's a polite
we are making
invitation.
Huge progress. We are making
some very simple examples are, utaimasen ka? Won't you sing? Nomimasen ka? Won't you drink? kairimasen ka? Won't you go home? I imagine this was the order of what happened that night. Won't you sing? Person probably said no. Won't you drink? They drank. And won't you go home? You should probably go home now, buddy. All right, so some longer sentences using our sentences from earlier, but turning them into invitations. We get この歌を歌いませんか? Won't you sing this song? We covered この in lesson 2. If you don't know how that works, I'll put a link down in the description probably.
Easy. This one is
check that out.
well.
お茶を飲みませんか? Won't you drink tea?
飲みませんか?
家に帰りませんか? Won't you go home? Literally, it translates to won't you go home to your house? Ie is your house. But kairu means to go home. So it's a little bit repetitive. You could just say kairimasen ka? Won't you go home? And that's perfectly fine. Adding ie at the beginning of the sentence it's a little bit repetitive when using the verb kairimasu. So let's jump into our conversation piece for this section. So I'm going to read it slow first and then speed up for the second time around.
明日一緒に勉強しませんか?
いいですよ。ありがとうございます。
Wait,
その後、映画を見ます。
Let's just quickly read the first one because I think I lost. 家に帰りませんか? Won't you go home? お茶を飲みませんか? Won't you drink tea? Okay.
一緒に勉強しませんか? いいですよ。
いいですよ。
ありがとうございます。その後、映画を見ませんか?
見ませんか?
いいですね。
いいですね。
Alright, let's go a little bit faster. 明日一緒に勉強しませんか? いいですよ。
いいですよ。
ありがとうございます。その後、映画を見ませんか? いいですね。
いいですね。
Alright, let's go over that line by line. So, 明日一緒に勉強しませんか? Won't you study with me tomorrow? Now, 一緒に is something that does not show up yet in Genki, but it's a very important word that you're going to hear all the time. So I've gone ahead and taken the liberty of throwing it in here. It basically means with me, together. So won't you study with me tomorrow? 明日勉強しませんか? If you just said that, it is an invitation, so you don't need 一緒に. It would still sort of imply, probably contextually, that you wanted them to study with you, but it could also mean, won't you study tomorrow? Aren't you going to study tomorrow? But adding 一緒に really puts the emphasis on you want them to study with you. So the next sentence is いいですよ. This is basically a set phrase which means sure. ありがとうございます. Thank you very much. Pretty straightforward. その後、映画を見ませんか? After that, want to watch a movie? So, その後, I've highlighted sort of as a time word here. It's not in Genki yet, but it's pretty useful, I think. It means after that.
Oh, great. I just
sono
wanted
means
to look
that,
at
a specific that.
Discord, but forgot to write down my Discord password. Passwords, yeah, passwords and authentications. It's tough. So you won't be able to log into Discord for 1 week.
Ato means after. So, その後、映画を見ませんか? After we finish studying, basically. いいですね。
So no Discord for until
いいですね
Monday.
is basically
what can we do?
a set phrase that means sounds good. So frequency adverbs in Japanese. Frequency adverbs, we have 毎日, every day, よく, often, and 時々, sometimes.
時々 wait.
映画を見ませんか? After we finish studying, basically. いいですね. いいですね is basically a set phrase that means sounds good. So frequency adverbs in Japanese. Frequency adverbs, we have 毎日, every day, よく, often, and 時々, sometimes. These are the ones covered in Genki in lesson 3. My favorite of these is tokidoki. I really love the sound of that. It was one of my favorite words when I first started speaking Japanese. So, this
mine is
looks messy, right? But it's pretty simple. So this is how it works. We've got an adverb of frequency. That's why I have the F in here, making it look a little algebraic. An adverb of frequency, plus a direct object, plus wo, plus a verb. We could also have a direct object plus o, plus the adverb of frequency plus the verb, or we could just have an adverb of frequency plus a verb. It doesn't matter. You can put it anywhere in the sentence. That's what I wanted to point out with this. It looks confusing, but what it means is the adverb of frequency, like tokidoki, can go anywhere. So let's go ahead and go over a couple sentences to illustrate that. 毎日コーヒーを飲みますか? Do you drink coffee every day? 毎日コーヒーを飲みますか? Some answers to that could be 時々時々コーヒーを飲みます. I drink coffee sometimes. So we could have 時々 at the beginning of the sentence.
Have
Or
to
like
go. See you
this one.
soon. Bye bye. Bye bye, Sensei Vic. Bye bye. Bye bye. Tokidoki, of course.
コーヒーをよく飲みます. I drink coffee
Tokidoki.
often. You could put it later in the sentence. So you could also say よくコーヒーを飲みます. But you could also put it over here. コーヒーをよく飲みます. I feel like yoku is more common before a verb than it is before the direct object, but maybe that's just how I like to say it. Alright, so these are negative verbs. コーヒーを coffee 飲みます. Some answers to that could be 時々時々コーヒーを飲みます. I drink coffee sometimes. So we could have 時々 at the beginning of the sentence, or like this one. コーヒーをよく飲みます. I drink coffee often. You could put it later in the sentence. So you could also say よくコーヒーを飲みます. But you could also put it over here. コーヒーをよく飲みます. I feel like よく is more common before a verb than it is before the direct object. But maybe that's just how I like to say it. Alright, so these are negative verbs of frequency. They're a little bit different. We've got zenzen, which means never, and ammari, which means not often. Now, the difference with this one is that they must be used with negative verb conjugations. So we've got the same thing where they can go anywhere in the sentence. They can go before a direct object, they could go before the verb, they could just be alone with the verb, but they must be combined with negative conjugations. So in our case, we've only learned the polite negative, which is 毎日コーヒーを飲みますか? Some answers to that could be 全然飲みません. I never drink coffee. You can't say 全然飲みます. Because it's never, right? Now, Japanese people do say, they do use zenzen with positive verbs. They do it. But it's grammatically incorrect. Like, even Japanese people make this mistake. They say like something like 全然大丈夫, which means I'm perfectly fine. But it's actually
全然大丈夫じゃありませんでしたよ.
grammatically incorrect to say 全然大丈夫 because 大丈夫 is a positive, right? But anyway, just know it needs to be combined with a negative verb. Using あんまり, we could say コーヒーをあんまり飲みません. Once again, this one also has to be with a negative conjugation. So 飲みません. あんまり飲みません. I don't drink coffee too often. That's a lie. I drink it all the time. You could also put あんまり at the beginning. あんまりコーヒーを飲みません. Either way is fine. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into our conversation. お酒は飲みますか? あんまり飲みません. A さんは時々飲みます. 嘘ですね。まあ、よく飲みますね。毎日飲みますね。
全然大丈夫じゃ、全然大丈夫、全然大丈夫じゃない、全然大丈夫ない。
Just in case you're wondering, B in this little skit is Ando-san. No, wait, I'm sorry. A is Ando-san in the Patreon listening and shadowing videos. Let's go through that a little bit faster. お酒は飲みますか? あんまり飲みません。A さんは時々飲みます。嘘ですね。まあ、よく飲みますね。毎日飲みますね。A is angry at this point in the conversation, I imagine. Alright, so let's go over that one by one. お酒は飲みますか? Do you drink alcohol? Now, in America, sake is basically Japanese wine, right? We refer to Japanese wine in the United States or in Western countries as sake. but that's not completely accurate. Sake in America, what they
Zenzen
call that in
daijoubu
Japan
nai,
is Nihonshu, which is
obviously is
basically
wrong
Japanese
because
wine, right? Nihonshu.
Daijoubu is not a Daijoubu. That's why. So nai it's negative for verbs. So zenzen daijoubu nai. It's from Daijoubu is not a verb. It's Daijoubu means okay. I don't know. It's not adjective. No. Daijoubu is just okay. Zenzen daijoubu nai. It's not okay.
Osake can also
Sake.
refer to sake, Nihonshu. But osake also refers to any type of alcohol. Any type. So in this situation, when someone says, osake wa nomimasu ka, they're saying, or they could say, osake wo nomimasu ka.
It's okay.
It would mean, do you drink alcohol in general? That's what it means. If someone wanted to ask you if
what
you
you're
drink,
saying, what you're trying to say, Zenzen Daijobu, when he said, like, where is it? So,
the difference with this one is that they must be used with negative verb conjugations. So we've got the same thing where they can go and, so that could be, I zenzen nomimasen. I never drink coffee. You can't say zenzen nomimasu.
he said Japanese people use Zenzen with Daijobu. So
because it's never, right? Now, Japanese people do say, they do use zenzen with positive verbs. They do it. But it's grammatically incorrect. Like, even Japanese people make this mistake. They say like something like zenzen daijobu, which means I'm perfectly fine. But it's actually grammatically incorrect to say zenzen daijobu because
it's correct.
daijobu is a positive, right?
So you cannot say Daijobanai. You have to say Daijobu. Zenzen Daijobu ji arimasen deshita yo. Arimasen deshita. So this is what you're trying to say, no? Is it Yuki? Zenzen Daijobu, you cannot use Zenzen Daijobanai. It's Zenzen Daijobu.
But anyway, just know it needs to be combined with a negative verb. Using ammari.
Or can you combine it with... But Japanese people I've seen, yeah, even in the Anki, they say Zenzen Daijobu.
Ammari nomimasen means a type of alcohol. Any type. Ammari nomimasen means I don't drink much. Do you?
Ammari nomimasen?
Eisama. Generally you use people's names if you know
Yes,
them
it was
when you're asking questions like
it was
this.
meant as a joke. Yeah, I understand.
Like, do
now.
you? You wouldn't
But it is used, so he's talking nonsense. It is used.
say anata wa.
Zenzen Daijobu.
If you know their name, you would say their name. Ei-san wa. Just keep that in mind. Try not to use anata too often. Tokidoki nomimasu. I drink it sometimes, says E. Then C comes in and says, Uso desu ne. That's a lie, eh?
Lie.
I'm using E in the Canadian way. Ne. Uso desu ne. That's a lie. Uso is it's a noun that means a lie. But when you say uso desu, that means that the thing that someone said is a lie. Ehe. Ma. Yoku nomimasu ne. Well, I guess I drink a lot. The I guess is sort of confirming that what the previous person said may be true, and that's what this ne is implying. It's implying that the thing that the person said before was true. You'll often see this when someone is confirming a phone number back to you. So if you say my number is ichi this, then when someone reads it back to you, they'll confirm it by saying ichi desu ne. So that's sort of a confirmation that what you said is true. Mainichi nomimasu ne. Yeah. You drink every day, is what this character is saying. You drink every day. And that ne is sort of a sarcastic, yeah, okay. Yeah, you drink every day. Word order in Japanese. All right, let's go ahead and jump into...
So what we learned now is the nomimasen ka or masen ka invitation or frequency adverb. No. Polite invitation is done. So we learned ammari, we learned zenzen, we learned tokidoki and so on. Easy stuff. I already know them. So let's move on to the
the next section. Word order in Japanese. So,
And then wa.
in English,
Wa.
this is a fun one.
Word order and wa.
English is traditionally presented as SVO language. Subject, verb, object. The cat, the subject, will eat, the verb, future tense. The mouse, that's the object. The cat will eat the mouse. Japanese is traditionally presented as a
Nezumi.
subject, object, verb language. Neko wa nezumi wo tabemasu. Neko wa nezumi wo nezumi wo tabemasu. Right?
You mean do Japanese say zenzen daijoubu in casual speech? Maybe while it is not correct grammatically, it's used and probably in the future it will be considered as correct. So they started. Yeah, I've heard like a lot of times, like they use things, and probably the language will change. So language changes in time. A lot of things, even Greek, a lot of things was grammatically incorrect, but it has changed. Like I remember some examples 10 years ago, and now are completely changed.
So it's presented as a subject, object, verb
Japan
language.
is probably
but
the same.
that's not entirely accurate. These sentences are all perfectly acceptable in Japanese. First, we have subject, object, verb. Neko wa nezumi wo
Nezumi wo
tabemasu.
tabemasu.
But this sentence is also a full sentence in Japanese. Nezumi wo
Nezumi wo
tabemasu. That's just
tabemasu.
object, verb. But it's a full sentence. We could also mix those up with a comma, verb, object. This is also a perfectly fine sentence. Tabemasu.
Tabemasu.
Nezumi wo.
Nezumi wo.
Perfectly fine. We could also just say
Okay.
tabemasu, just the verb. And that's it.
Nezumi wo
That's a
tabemasu.
complete sentence. In English, imagine if someone just said eat or will eat. She's cracking up over here. That's not a complete sentence. It doesn't work. What are you going to eat, mister? Who's going to eat? What are you talking about? But in Japanese, context is important. And just the verb, perfectly fine. It's grammatically correct. Tabemasu. Yes, so you can just say a verb on its own, and it's a perfectly good sentence. Unlike in English. Eat! Can't say that. Alright, so let's go over a conversation which illustrates this point.
今日は何をしますか？
何をしますか？寝る。え？それだけですか？
I mean, if everyone uses it, it will become correct. Same goes for potential of ru. Yeah, the rare. Yeah, the rareru. It will become ru. Grammatically correct. Taberareru. Casual speech. Taberu. Taberu. Yeah. Yeah, this is one. This one is also going to be changed as well. I heard. But yeah, slowly. I mean, there is no time frame for when to change. But it's true. If everyone uses it, it will become correct. Taberareru, taberu. But I prefer taberareru. It's more Japanese this way. Taberareru. It's better to say taberareru. It's difficult, but it's more Japanese this way.
食べる。
寝る。
そして見る。あの映画を寝る。今日は何をしますか？
何をしますか？
寝る。
Sleep.
え？それだけです
それだけです
か？
か？ Only that?
食べる。
Eat.
そして
そして
見る。
見る。
あの映画を。
あの映画を。
Let's go a little bit faster. 今日は何をしますか？
何をしますか？
寝る。
寝る。
それだけですか？
それだけですか？
食べる。
食べる。
そして
そして
見る。あの映画を。
あの映画を。
In case you're wondering, B is Ando-san. Let's go over these line by line. 今日は何をしますか？ This is a very polite.
What will you do
today? And the answer is a resound, just
Sleep.
dictionary form verb. 寝る.
寝る。
The English would be, if Yuki said to me, what will you do today? I will say, sleep. I guess that's a response that's not necessarily incorrect in English, but sleep. 寝る.
え
Huh?
それだけですか？
Only だけ means only. Dake is a very useful word that means only. You can use it just like you use only in English. So, それ, that, only, ですか? それだけですか? 食べる. I'll eat. So just the verb, dictionary form alone, 食べる, implies that I will eat. And that's perfectly okay. Perfectly good grammar. そして? そして is an excellent conjunction junction. What's your function? It's an excellent conjunction. It means and then. You can also use it like to continue your sentence as a conjunction. And then I did something something. コーヒーを飲みました。そして朝ごはんを食べました。Right? So I drank coffee and then I ate breakfast. 見る。あの映画を I'll watch it. That movie. That sounds weird in English, right? But it's perfectly fine in Japanese. You're throwing the verb out first. 見る. Watch. あの映画を the actual literal translation of this sentence would be watch that movie. Which is, what's this guy doing? But basically that is perfectly okay. More about wa. Wa is not the subject marker.
Okay, wa
is
now.
not the subject marker.
Wa.
Ga is the subject marker, by the way, but wa is not it. Wa marks the main topic of a sentence. For example,
Last topic.
今日は忙しい. The topic is today. What we're talking about is today. Are you busy today? 今日は忙しい. 今日 isn't the subject.
Zenzen, we have a comment here. Zenzen doesn't mean never, but completely. So zenzen daijoubu means it's fine totally. But it's used in negative sentences basically. Oh, okay. So zenzen, but zenzen, when you use zenzen with negative, it becomes never. But zenzen on its own means completely or totally also, I think. But it means completely basically, zenzen. Zenzen daijoubu, it's fine, totally. It's totally fine. Zenzen daijoubu is totally fine. Yuki, we have a comment here from a Japanese person. Takumi, hello Takumi, how is it going? Genki desu ka? So, yeah, zenzen on its own doesn't mean never. Zenzen means completely. Or totally. So, zenzen daijoubu means totally fine. Completely
It's the
fine.
topic of the sentence. What are you busy today? Gohan wa. This is a very useful
Hello, how is it going?
sentence. You'll hear it all the time. It means, how about some food? But it's really just food. Food? Dude, basically. So, the topic is food. And it implies a longer sentence.
So, hello
what it implies
in
is,
Japanese
Gohan
is
wa
hello.
tabemasu
Hello is
ka?
hello.
But the topic is food.
Ah, yes, of course, because there is no L basically.
So some more full sentences would be,
Because there is no L basically.
it's really just food.
Konbanwa.
Dude, basically. So, the topic is food. And it implies a longer sentence. What it implies is, Gohan wa tabemasu ka? But the topic is food. So some more full sentences would be, 今日はケーキを食べます. Tabemasu. Oh, I don't have the coloring here. I'm very sorry. Today, pink, I will eat cake.
今日はケーキを食べます.
ケーキを食べます. So notice we have the direct object here, and the topic of the sentence is today. Today I'm going to do this. The main part of this is that I'm going to eat cake today. 週末はテレビを見ます. So the topic here is what I'm going to be doing over the weekend. The weekend is the important part here. In English, we would use emphasis to sort of, like emphasis on the word. This weekend, I'm going to watch TV. This weekend, I'm going to do that. So like we would use emphasis to sort of present the topic of the sentence. But in Japanese, we use the wa particle. 週末 is the topic. 週末はテレビを見ます. We're talking about the weekend. I hope you guys had a good weekend. I don't know if the weekend means anything anymore considering the way the world is, but oh well. So let's go over some conversational pieces to sort of illustrate wa being used not as a subject marker, which it can be. Sometimes the topic of a sentence is the subject, right?
I think I know
Like in
wa
the
by
case
now.
of watashi
I think I
wa
completely
gohan wo
memorized wa by
tabemasu.
now.
In that situation, watashi is the topic and the subject. I'm the subject of the sentence, what I'm going to do, but not always. And that's what we're covering right now. So we're going to go over the conversation now. Gohan wa 食べま
は
す。
食べます。
ラーメンはどうですか？今日はラーメンを食べません。あれ食べません。え寿司は
寿司は
寿司は食べます。Let's read that at a full speed because that was a little awkward. ご飯は
ご飯は
食べます。
食べます。
ラーメンはどうですか？
ラーメンはどうですか？
今日はラーメンを食べません。え寿司は
寿司は
寿司は食べます。Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at these one by one. ご飯はHow about something to eat? So the question mark, that intonation rising, ご飯は is what indicates it is a question of whether you want to eat food. 食べます just a verb alone. It's a response. Look at this. We don't have any subjects, objects, nothing. It's just literally a noun with a particle and a verb. And we just had a conversation in Japanese. It's wonderful. 食べます I'll eat. ラーメンはどうですか? How about ramen, or how is ramen? I translated it as how is because we have this des, so it made it a little bit easier to explain. But a better English translation would be how about ramen? どうですか means how about something something, or how is something something. 最近はどうですか? How have you been, for example. Or ラーメンはどうですか? How is ramen? How about ramen? 今日はラーメンを食べません。So, 今日 today is now the topic of the sentence. Today, I'm not going to eat ramen. It doesn't mean that I don't eat ramen. Like, I don't eat ramen. It means that today is the topic. Today specifically, I don't want to eat ramen. I'm not going to eat ramen. Not I don't want to. It means I'm not going to. 食べません. Finally, a surprise. Huh? This guy must really like ramen. Sushi wa? The new topic is sushi. And this sentence implies sushi wa tabemasu ka? Sushi wa tabemasu. If we're talking about sushi, which would be the sort of literal translation of this wa, if it's sushi we're talking about, I'll eat it. So you can kind of translate the topic particle wa as if it's something we're talking about, or if we're talking about this, then yes. Sushi wa tabemasu. If we're talking about sushi, I will eat it. The question today is, 今日は何を食べますか? What will you eat today? An example of this, an answer to that sentence would be 卵を食べます. I'll eat eggs. I did eat eggs today. I ate boiled eggs. 卵を食べます. So this will give you a chance to use the O particle to listen to the question of 今日は何を食べますか? And to conjugate the verb 食べます. So this is how you do it. 今日は何を食べますか? And you'll answer with 〇〇を食べます.
卵を食べます。
We have listening.
Okay, so
Good evening, everyone, and
it was
welcome to the
it was an easy lesson today, but it was very, very necessary. I removed all the doubts I have, so we learned the mass conjugations. Ichidan, Godan, I completely mastered them. I know them. I have no flaws, but now I can easily conjugate any word by now. The only thing I know now is that I need to memorize these 12 exceptions. So very, very necessary, very, very helpful lesson today. And this is the goal of this challenge, 30 days Genki challenge, because I already read the whole Genki. So what we're going to gain from this challenge after finishing all of these videos and another playlist is to remove all the doubts and make everything clear, every grammar point to be clear. So the first 3 lessons done were easy, but now I completely understand them. I completely mastered them. So, koko, and sono, and those words, kore, sore, are, and kono, sono, ano, and whatnot. Maybe I had little difficulties, but now I know them. Mass conjugations also done. I wrote every conjugation. I think I memorized them. I think I memorized them by now. So u becomes i, ku becomes ki, su becomes shi, tsu becomes chi, nu becomes ni, mu, and whatnot. Ichidan, of course, iru eru verbs. Every iru eru verb is, you just remove the ru, except for these 12 exceptions, which the ru becomes ri. So, and yeah, and that's it. And tomorrow, day 4 with the challenge, and we keep going strong until we master all the conjugations with potential form, volitional, past tense, and whatnot. I can't wait until we finish this whole challenge. So for now, Takumi. So Takumi, how are you? How is it going? 日本に生活はどうですか? Wow, those lessons are long. They are long. They are long. They are actually very long, yes. But very helpful. Very helpful. It's I think these long videos I'm only going to watch them this only this month. After we finish with those, I will take it easy. I will only do easy stuff. But I think they are very necessary. Very necessary. I learned a lot. So, and I can't wait to know how many we can learn by the end of the month or by the end of the 30 days. 今日は鮭のサンドイッチ。今日は鮭のサンドイッチを食べました。今日は鮭をサンドイッチを食べました。Wait, 鮭? Salmon. Ah, so salmon is sake. お疲れ様でした。Thank you very much, Menzak. Thank you very much. So sake, no, we have sake for alcoholic beverage. Sake is salmon. Okay, so it has the fish sakana plus furui. Or no, tsuchi. Sakana plus tsuchi. Two tsuchis. So it consists of sakana and two tsuchi. Sakana and two tsuchi. Okay. Yen. Okay, sakana and two tsuchi, which becomes sake. So sake is also salmon. Okay, now let's just finish with the G-Lab and that's it for today.
謝らなければいけないこと。
謝らなければいけないこと。謝らなければいけないこと。
謝らなければいけないこと。
謝らなければいけないこと。If I don't apologize, or you must apologize.
謝らなければいけないこと。
謝らなければいけないこと。I think you must apologize.
話せば長くなるな。
話せば長くなるな。If I tell you, it will take long. If I tell you about it, it will take long.
大丈夫。
大丈夫。
僕がいる。
大丈夫。僕がいる。
大丈夫。僕がいる。
行ってきます。
行ってきます。I'm going.
朝ごはん食べてこなかったの？
朝ごはん食べてこなかったの？朝ごはん食べてこなかったの？ So you ate dinner. You eat dinner and you didn't come?
朝ごはん食べてこなかったの？
食べなかったの？ You ate breakfast. Ah, breakfast, not dinner, breakfast. 大丈夫、僕がいる。You ate breakfast and didn't come?
いいわ。
いいわ。
私が調べるから。
いいわ。私が調べるから。いいわ。私が調べるから。そう、いいわ。私が調べるから。It's okay. いいわ。I am going to investigate because I am going to investigate. いいわ。私が。It's me who is going to investigate. It's me. 私が調べるから。Okay.
読めばわかる。絶対に。
読めばわかる。絶対に。読めばわかる。絶対に。If I read, if you read it, you will understand. You will definitely 絶対。You will absolutely understand. You will definitely understand. 読めばわかる。絶対に。You will absolutely understand. You will completely understand.
体が大きければ強い。
体が大きい。体が大きければ強い。体が大きければ強い。
体が大きければ強い。
体が大きければ強い。強い。強い。It's a me, Mario. Which one?
体が大きければ強い。
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 体が大きければ強い。体が大きければ強い。If body big, if the body is big, then strong. If the body is big, then strong. It's a me, Mario. It's a me, Mario. 体が大きければ強い。
体が大きければ強い。
体が大きければ強い。If body is big, it's also strong.
すべてが見える。
すべてが見える。Everything is visible. I can see everything. Everything is in sight. Everything is in sight.
悲しみに負けてはならない。
悲しみに負けてはてれば、悲しみに負けてはならない。悲しみに負けてはならない。悲しみに負けてはならない。You must not be defeated by sorrow.
大丈夫。
大丈夫。
僕がいる。大丈夫。僕がいる。大丈夫。僕がいる。
大丈夫。僕がいる。
本当だといいけど。
本当だといいけど。本当だといいけど。本当だといいけど。そう。本当いいけど。But if it's the truth, then it's okay. If it's the truth, then it's okay. 本当だといいけど。
でも、あの子は友達じゃない。
でも、あの子は友達じゃない。でも、あの子はこの、でも、あの子は友達じゃない。But that kid is not, is not a friend. It's not a friend. Not a friend.
面白ければ。
面白ければ、面白ければ。If it's 面白い、if it's interesting.
迷えば死ぬと思っていた。
迷えば死ぬと思っていた。迷えば死ぬと思っていた。If we get lost, we will die.
幸せの味。
幸せの味、the taste of happiness. Taste of happiness.
みんなで食えばうまいね。
みんなで食えばうまいね。みんなで食えばうまいね。うまいね。うまいね。
みんなで食えばうまいね。
If we eat with everyone, it's tasty, isn't it? It's tasty, isn't it? If we eat with everybody, it's tasty,
お
isn't it?
茶入れてくるね。
お茶入れてくるね。お茶入れてくるね。Shall I make you chai? お茶 I will make you tea?
見ればすぐわかるさ。
見ればすぐわかるさ。見ればすぐわかるさ。If you see, you will すぐわかるさ。You will understand. すぐ I'm not sure what すぐ means. 見ればすぐわかるさ。You will definitely understand. Or you'll probably. You're immediately すぐ。Yeah, let's do it again.
ここまで調べたのか。
ここまで調べたのか。ここまで調べたのか。So you investigated until here. Until here you investigated. You examined this up to this point. To examine. 調べる to examine.
戦えばわかるさ。
戦えばわかるさ。If you fight, you will understand. If you fight, you understand. 戦えばわかるさ。If you fight, you understand.
一人だと静かだな。
一人だと静かだな。If I'm alone, it's calm. I feel peaceful.
飲んじゃった。
飲んじゃった。I didn't drink. I don't drink. Or didn't drink in the past tense.
今離れたら絶対ダメだよ。
今離れたら絶対ダメだよ。If we separate, it's絶対 it's definitely bad. It's definitely a bad. Definitely no good.
言ってはダメ。
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 言ってはダメ。言ってはダメ。言ってはダメ。Therefore, you must not go. You must not go. You must not go.
言ってはダメ。
言ってはダメ。You must not go.
面白ければ。
面白ければ。If it's interesting. If it's interesting. If they are interesting. Yeah.
お前それもらったら嬉しいのか？
お前それもらったら嬉しいのか？お前それもらったら嬉しいのか？お前それもらったら嬉しいのか？ If you receive that, if you receive that, will you be happy? Will this make you happy? Will it make you happy? お前それもらったら嬉しいのか？
お前それもらったら嬉しいのか？
お前それもらったら嬉しいのか？お前それも飲んじゃった means I did drink. I did drink, yeah. I did drink in the past tense, yes. I did drink. I drank. Or I did drink. Okay.
やられるぞ。
やられるぞ。やられるぞ。やられるぞ。I think it's possible or it's die. I'm not sure what your やられるぞ means.
それも探さなくてはなりませんので。
それも探さなくて。探さなくてはなりませんので。
それも探さなくてはなりませんので。
なりませんので。それも探さなくてはなれまさなくてはなりませんので。それも探さなくてはなりませんので。それも探さなくてはなりませんので。それも探さなくてはなりませんので。I forgot what does 探さなくて mean? I don't know what this
終わったら買い物して帰ります。
終わったら買い物して帰ります。終わったら買い物して帰ります。After this, if I finish 終わったら if I finish 終わったら買い物して帰ります。I will go shopping and go back home. If I finish 終わったら I go shopping and go home.
終わったら買い物して帰ります。
To search 探す to search 探す We'll see it again later. 終わったら買い物して帰ります。Okay. When I finish, I go shopping and return home.
それでお姉さん、今日のお菓子は何ですか？
それでお姉さん、今日のお菓子は何ですか？ So, お姉さん、as for today's sweets, what will they be? What will they?
見える。
見える、visible. 見える to be seen, to be in sight.
いつまでいるんだ？
いつまでいるんだ？ Until when will you be here or will you be there? Till when are you there?
全然大丈夫じゃありませんでしたよ。
There is 大丈夫、全然大丈夫。全然大丈夫じゃありませんでしたよ。全然大丈夫じゃありませんでしたよ。全然大丈夫じゃありませんでしたよ。There it is. So, 全然 as たくみさん。こんばんは、モラポ、how is it going? So, as Takumi said, Zenzen doesn't mean never, but it means completely or totally. So zenzen daijobu means totally, it's fine, totally. But here also we can see a negative, by the way. So zenzen daijobu ja arimasen deshita yo. So he was totally not okay, or you were totally not okay. 全然大丈夫じゃありませんでしたよ。
全然大丈夫じゃありませんでしたよ。
全然大丈夫じゃありませんでしたよ。So, totally not okay. Was totally not okay. Okay.
大丈夫。
大丈夫。
僕がいる。大丈夫。僕がいる。
大丈夫、僕がいる。
うまくいけばみんな助かります。
うまくいけばみんな助かります。うまくいけばみんな助かります。If うまくいけば If you go skilled みんな助かります。We help everyone. I'm not sure what that means. If it goes well, how did I forget this? If it goes well, everybody will be saved. Okay, if it goes well, umaikeba, it's is from umaku to go well. Again, I keep forgetting umaikeba.
一人で食べられるわよ。
一人で食べられる。一人で食べられるわよ。一人で食べられるわよ。一人で食べられるわよ。I can eat by myself. 一人で食べられるわよ。Can eat by myself.
会長になったら何をしますか？
Doing well, dude. Can you give me the Anki deck link to use? Of course, of course. Let's look it up. It's amazing. It's an amazing deck. It helped me a lot. G-Lab. I still have 40 days to finish it. And I'm not going to finish it anytime soon. G-Lab Anki. If I finish it, I will be very sad. It will be very emotional day. The last day of G-Lab would be very emotional. So wait. Don't think this is the Romanji Kana. No, I need the full G-Lab Sunday movies from. I don't think this is the full one. This is the add-on. This is an add-on. So if we go, the author has shared free resources, G-Lab, Taikim Grammar, this one. A number counting with anime expression. He has another one. Number system up to million almost an irregular person. Recognition by listening comprehension, mixed numbers. He made a new one.
今1302円しかねえけど。
Ooh, I'll definitely use this one as well. He made a new deck as well. Number system up to 100 million. All irregular number count, most irrelevant count. Number recognition by listening comprehension with mixed numbers. Number production. Okay, I'll definitely use this one as well. Okay, numbers. Okay, let's just send the link. Okay, check out this link. It's an amazing deck. So, okay, I'll download the numbers as well. It's very useful. Okay, download. How to download?
10時だ。
10時だ。
入るぞ。
入るぞ。Okay, download. Download the numbers as well. Numbers are very helpful. No problem. Also, try to read. Go to Taikim. Okay, Taikim, and because this deck is based on Taikim. Okay, if you type Taikim, you go to the first link. Taikim Guides to Learning Grammar. Because this deck, if you can see, is based on this website. And you go to grammar guide, okay, grammar guide, basic grammar, and you start from here, expressing state of being. And I like it to be dark, but I don't know, it changed. But anyways, so you go to basic grammar and you read each article. So you read this one, okay, state of being, expressing state of being. Declaring something is da, to declare something. You read this one, basically you first do the deck, import.
会長になったら何をしますか？
会長になったら何をしますか? Okay, so you do the deck, you download the deck, then you go to Taikim and start reading the article for state of being, for example. Then the next day you do the deck again, and you go to introduction to particles. You watch the video. You watch video. You read, because this is long. Maybe it takes you 2 days to finish. And you watch other video as well. It took me 2 days to finish this article. So 3 days. Now if you're doing day 3, on day 4 also you do the deck. Then you go to particle. You go exercises as well. Particle practice exercises. Then next day you do adjectives, adjective practice, verb basic, verb practice exercises, negative verbs, negative verb exercise practice, past tense, past verb practice, particle used with verbs, transitive, intransitive, and so on and so on. So yeah, this deck with the Taikim, it goes very well together. So we have numbers and countings. Okay, I'll definitely use numbers and countings later. So if we add 20. Okay. So later, after we finish with the challenge, we will move on to numbers and counting as well. So numbers and countings, very necessary, very important to learn. 200, and it's also a very small deck. So easy to finish.
見ればすぐわかるさ。
見ればすぐわかるさ。見ればすぐわかるさ。見ればすぐわかるさ。What is this deck? Oh, counting, nice. Counting is tough. Counting is tough. Yeah, that's why it's important as well. 開くの語。懐かしい。懐かしい。Dear old, beloved. 懐かしい。懐かしい。Okay.
見ればすぐわかるさ。
見ればすぐわかるさ。So counting is very tough. That's why saying the numbers quickly needs practice. And I think this deck will be very helpful. We'll do it later. We'll do it later for sure.
見ればすぐわかるさ。
見ればすぐわかるさ。If you see, you will understand. You will immediately understand. 見ればすぐわかるさ。
会長になったら何をしますか？
会長になったら何をしますか？会長になったら何をしますか？ If you become president, what will you do? What will you do? 会長になったら何をしますか？ If you become president, what will you do?
部屋からなくなっていました。
部屋からなくなっていました。部屋からなくなっていました。So, he was missing from the room. He was missing from the room. 部屋からなくなっていました。
部屋からなくなっていました。
部屋からなくなっていました。was missing from the room.
よく考えたら俺、ここに来ることはなかったんだよな。
よく考えたら俺、ここに来ることはなかったんだよな。よく考えたら俺、ここに来ることはなかったんだよな。If you think about it well, I was not supposed to be here in this world.
そうなったら私も嬉しいな。
そうなったら私も嬉しいな。If that's so, if that's how it becomes, I will also be happy. If it becomes like this, そうなったら I'll be happy.
私も持ってきてるわよ。
私も持ってきてるわよ。私も持ってきてるわよ。I will also I also brought something to you. I also brought something. 持ってきてるわよ。
私も持ってきてるわよ。
私も持ってきてるわよ。I also brought something for you. I also bringing something. 持ってきてる。Okay.
早く行かなければ。
早く行かなければ。早く行かなければ。If we can go fast.
でもいつか知るんだし。
でもいつか知るんだし means but I always or sometimes でもいつか知るんだし but I sometimes know but someday you will know okay. 迷った I got lost 迷った
君も読むか？
君も読むか Do you also read? 君もよく読むか Do you also read this question mark?
あそこなら家から近いし。
光の語あそこなら家から近いし。
あそこなら家から近いし。
Should I get the numbers one too? I didn't get it. I think. No. Let the numbers for later. Keep the numbers for later. Don't. It's but even though it's a small deck, so maybe it will help. Try it, or maybe not. Try, get it and see how it goes. Or maybe just do the first month with GLab. Do first month with GLab and then get the numbers. If you finish this deck, the numbers will become much easier. No, I think finish this deck, finish the GLab, okay, and then get the numbers. I think. For me, if I finish this deck and then I do the numbers, it will be much easier. I'm not going to do the numbers now. I'll keep the numbers for later. But I believe it will be very easy. The numbers will be very easy, piece of cake. Because I already know a lot of vocabulary, a lot of kanji, and a lot of grammar. あそこなら家から近いし。
あそこなら家から近いし。
あそこなら家から近いし。If you're talking about over there, 家から近いし。It's close to your home. It's close to your house.
うまくいけばみんな助かります。
Okay, this time I will get it right. うまくいけばみんな助かります。うまくいけばみんな助かります。If it goes well, we will save, everyone will be saved. If it goes well, everybody will be saved.
これだけあれば問題ないな。
これだけやれば問題ないな。これだけやれば問題ないな。If you do this, then there is no problem. If you can't do this, then there is no problem.
お菓子も用意しとくね。
お菓子も用意しとく。The sweets are ready. Sweets are also ready.
僕を殺せばすべてが終わる。
僕を殺せばすべてが終わる。僕を殺せばすべてが終わる。僕を殺せばすべてが終わる。If you kill me, so O marks the object, or that the verb is doing to the object. So if you kill me, すべてが終わる。Everything will end. Everything will end.
僕を殺せばすべてが終わる。
僕を殺せばすべてが終わる。僕を殺せばすべてが終わる。
願いは叶えてはいけない。
君の願いは 叶えてはいけない。
願いは叶えてはいけない。
君の願いは叶えてはいけない。So, your wish is I must not make your wish come true or something.
失うものは大きいぞ。失うものは大きいぞ。
失うものは大きいぞ。失うものは大きいぞ。
読んだことあるの？嬉しいね。
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 読んだことあるの？嬉しいね。Do you read this? I'm happy. You read this? I'm happy.
早ければな。
早ければな。早ければな。If we go fast, if it's fast, if we are fast. If something ends on eba, you most likely have this form.
迷えば死ぬと思っていた。
迷えば死ぬと思っていた。迷えば死ぬと思っていた。If we get lost,死ぬと思っていた。So this is the quote, と not the if と。So 迷えば if we get lost, we will die. I think we will die. If we get lost, we will die.
どこに置いたらいいかな。
どこに置いたらいいかな。どこに置いたらいいかな。I wonder where I should put it.
調べればわかる。
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 調べればわかる。If you investigate, if you examine, you'll understand. 調べればわかる。
いいわ。私が調べるから。
いいわ、私が調べるから。いいわ、私が調べるから。It's okay because it's me who will investigate. I will investigate. Because I will investigate. It's okay because I will investigate.
最後に笑うのは。
最後に笑うのは。最後に笑うのは。最後に笑うのは。最後に笑うのは。
うまくいけばみんな助かります。
うまくいけばみんな助かります。If it goes well, everyone will be saved. Everyone will be saved.
でもいつか知るんだし。
でもいつか知るんだし。でもいつか知るんだし。But someday いつか知るんだし。You will understand. You will know. Someday you will know. でもいつか知るんだし。
僕を殺せばすべてが終わる。
僕を殺せばすべてが終わる。僕を殺せばすべてが終わる。僕を殺せばすべてが終わる。Okay, okay.
最後に笑うのは。
最後に笑うのは。Dan, congratulations. So, Dan, I think. Yeah, Dan. Yeah, we wrap it up for today. It was a good lesson. So we complete 3 days. Tomorrow is day 4. So thank you very much. A lot of people came by. Yuki, of course, thank you very much. Zebenzerk also. Thank you very much. And Takumi Morapo also. Takumi, Yodai, Hirose, maybe this Takumi and Yodai maybe are sleeping now because they have evening there in Japan. Timim is wait. Hello, Sensei Vic. So Shin-chan will have to wait until we know better Japanese. I think yes. Because when I was playing, okay, the first part was easy because I watched Game Gengo. Okay. So when I watched Game Gengo, the
Hey guys, my name's Matt and in
the video of Game Gengo,
short
you know.
for Sore.
Shanchi, okay, so I watched the whole video and I could remember a lot. So I remember Mitsu, like Mitsu means honey. Otsukare-sama deshita. Thank you very much. So, because I read it, I did all of this, I watched it. The first part was easy to translate. But then, I didn't know what to do. It was frustrating. I couldn't understand anything. I couldn't do anything. Maybe I make video, record it, and then, or maybe we wait until we know better Japanese. Until we finish the challenge, Genki challenge. If we finish Genki challenge, I will have a good knowledge of grammar. The encyclopedia, for example. Yes, it should be midnight in Japan now, right now. So encyclopedia, for example, I know it because I watched the video. I know that is, no, I forgot. It's Zatun or Zatsun, I think.
No, Shizenzukan is just Kazuko's
Shizenzukan.
nature encyclopedia, and then no kan.
Zukan. Zukan is encyclopedia or encyclopedia. So Zukan, yeah, he has another video, I think. But also I want to watch these videos, the complete Japanese verb conjugation, complete GLPT grammar. Also, one very good playlist that I want to watch is this one. So the complete GLPT N5 grammar, I will watch this definitely. The complete GLPT N4 grammar, the complete verb conjugation, and the complete GLPT N3 grammar. So I think after we finish with Genki, this is another long videos I want to watch. So not only Genki are the long videos that I want to watch, but these ones as well. So maybe we make another challenge to watch this playlist. So it's going to be 2 hours, 6 hours, and 12 hours. 12 hours. So maybe we complete them in 12 days, 1 hour a day. 13 hours, which we have this one as well. Probably 20 days or another 30 days. I still have to watch the video about end grammar. So you want to watch it also? So yeah, I'll definitely watch it. After we finish with Genki challenge, okay. After we finish with all of this, I'll definitely start another challenge with this playlist. So watch this one. This one will be easy because we already will know. This one, so. Verb conjugation. He has all the verb conjugations, which is a very important piece of grammar that I want to master fully. Causative form, causative passive form, imperative form, BA hypothetical form, ba. Okay, even though I know them, but it's good to see them. Tara, potential form, volitional form, everything he has. A refresher, yeah, nothing new, but a refresher, definitely. A refresher is always good to go back at sometimes, and to clear any doubts you have. That's what I'm doing with Genki as well, because I know all of them.
Meaning there are some.
I know all of them, but it's good to refresh. So I think Shichan will have to wait a little bit, and then we go back to it, Shinchan. But yeah, thank you very much. So I have to go now. And yeah, Madashita. I'll definitely be here tomorrow. Madashita. Have a nice afternoon. Thank you very much. Have a nice afternoon. Hmm.